Hello and welcome to the Free Dominion Show. My name is Freeman Singirankabo, and thank you so very much for tuning into our program today. Those of you joining us live, especially if you're joining us live from the social media like Facebook, YouTube, and some of the private social medias that we broadcast our signal from, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so glad and thrilled that you can find some time out of your busy schedule to join our broadcast today. Please feel free and do remember to share our programs with the rest of your networks. Share, follow, even subscribe, and make sure that you share the same information to the rest of your colleagues, friends, and families. That goes the same to those of you joining us live from television and radio station. We are so glad that you can also tune in to our program, despite many millions of programs that you could be tuning in right now. So we are super excited and super grateful for the opportunity to appear in front of you and to share the things that we care very deeply about. And it is for this reason that every time we get to talk to you guys, every time we get to appear, every time we come here at our Free Dominion show, we are seriously coming with the intent to have a discussion with you. And the conversation, it's a frank conversation, it's a bold conversation, and it is a conversation that we get to have with you with no apologies to nobody. You may ask why. We're not trying to be cocky, we're not trying to be superior, we're not trying to be something else that you may so choose to see as it may appear to you. We're simply trying to be ourselves. We're simply trying to communicate what's in our hearts, and we simply try to get the attention from the rest of our brothers and sisters so we can sit down and discuss these very serious issues that we care very deeply about. And it is for these reasons that anytime you find us here at that Free Dominion show, we are driven by the spirit of truth, love, and trust. And these are the benchmarks that we also have set for ourselves. We would love for you also to literally set for us, so that you can be able to have that opportunity to measure both the trustworthy, the validity of the content that we have, to make sure that this is something you can subscribe to make sure that this is something that is truthful, to make sure that this is something that is very well researched, something that you yourself can go out there and actually scrutinize and make sure that it's pretty rock solid. Because we want to waste nobody's time. We know that your time is precious. We know that you have so many million things that you could be doing, but you actually have selected, and you have selected to just come in and hang out with us. You've selected to come in and share with us. And we are so grateful for that opportunity, but we also want you to be involved. We don't just want you to watch. We also want you to be involved. And it is for those reasons we also have this live broadcast in real time. And we also have an opportunity to say, come to the studio. Be a participant. Don't just watch. Whatever it is that you find to be true, whatever it is you find to be wrong, whatever it is you find to be inaccurate, we want you to be involved. Come and have your saying. And we do not discriminate here. Anybody's welcome. Every single one is welcome. Because that's how we roll, guys. Plain out, up in the open. We have a public scale. You come in and you put us there and see how we wait. We do this today, we did this yesterday, we'll do this 10 years, 20 years, however long we get the opportunity to broadcast in real time and to have a conversation with you, brothers and sisters all over the world. And with that in mind, guys, I want to say welcome. Welcome to each and every one of you, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Do not hesitate to leave us some feedback. Do not hesitate to let us know what you like, what you do not like, what you dislike, what you would like us to improve upon, what you'd like us to do here and there. Whatever it is you feel like it can be an added value to us and to the rest of your brothers and sisters, feel free. Feel free to share that information with us, and also have some sort of expectation. Because here we have expectation from us to you, and we would love for you to have expectations as well. Some of our expectation from you, especially the viewers, listeners, and those of you following this program, either on television, radio stations, or social media, is that you actually take some time and give us some feedback. Send us some feedback on our website, because that's the primary gateway to reach out to us. Our domain or our website is www.afridominion.com. www.afridominion.com. Our main email is info@afridominion.com. info@afridominion.com. When you arrive to the website, you will notice that we have telephone numbers, we have emails, we have social media handlers, we have social media accounts from various social media platforms. Take advantage of all those things. We also in particular have a private group where we can actually meet, where you get to meet other like minds, where you get to know what we're doing in the back end, behind the scene. We want you to be involved. We hide nothing from you because we roll in truth, love, and trust. That's how we do it. And we do it publicly because we are just too sure of ourselves. So welcome as well, and have a saying, and welcome and come and see, join other like minds. And also be sure to support us, however means or however way you choose to do it, be it financially, be it your time, be it your ingenuity, be it your creativity. We welcome all your support, especially that this particular program is 100% fully funded by you viewers and listeners and angel investors. And we are super grateful for the opportunity to serve you. And in particular, we are so grateful for the opportunity we have had in from the studio, HMG Network and affiliates, for actually broadcasting this signal. We've worked with them for so many years on different various projects, and these are the rock solid organizations that anytime, anywhere, you can actually rock with them. I personally can rock with them anyway, anytime, and with without being ashamed. And with that in mind, guys, I'd like to give you a huge welcome. We are so excited today. Today we are Thursday on the 17th of March, 2022. And today is just another day here at Afri Dominion where we get to do what we do best. We get to talk to you guys, we get to discuss with you guys, and you get to have a saying in it. And for those of you guys who do not know what we do here, let me give you a quick brief of what we do. What is Afri Dominion and what is Afri Dominion Show? Afri Dominion, it's an idea that inspires, advocates, encourages, even helps to take back the dominion of Africa and African resources by African sons and daughters and African descendants, all in the interest of African people. I shall add, we do this, or we are helping or encouraging to take back the dominion of Africa one nation at a time, or one country at a time, by the sons, daughters, and African descendants, all in the interest of African people first and foremost, and African nations primarily, and then the rest of the world afterwards. So the Afri Dominion Show, it's a mouthpiece of this idea. Here at Afri Dominion Show, we get to promote everything related to the idea. Meaning, we get to have programs of which inspire, of which advocates you, the voiceless brothers and sisters all over. We inspire you, brothers and sisters all over. We also get to encourage and help each and every one of you to take back dominion of your own homeland, of your own leadership, of your own activities. And we take one nation at a time. We scrutinize every single nation. We'll make sure that what's going on there, it's for you and your own people primarily. The interest is actually for you first and foremost. And if it isn't, we fight for it. We advocate for it. And we make sure that we actually do what we gotta do to make that as a change, to change that literally. So here you can expect that everything that we do is for African and African people first and foremost. And we make no apologies about it. The same way the United States, the Chinese, the French, every other continent, every other nation, they take care of the people first and foremost because it's their mandate. Even ourselves here, we have a mandate to actually take care of our own people first and foremost before we take care of other people, and we apologize to nobody about it. And with this broadcast, we get to broadcast from Mondays through Fridays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those of you who aren't familiar with the time zone, Eastern Standard Time, it's Washington, D.C., United States time zone. Meaning, if you want to follow this program in real time, you've got to check what time is it in Washington, D.C., what does that equivalent to in your respective nations or your respective regions. So 12 to 1:30, that's when you can find us. Afterwards, you find us on demand, or you find us on various platforms where this program stays or remain. And we welcome each and every one of you guys. We have 5 major themes that we follow every single day for those 5 business days or 5 broadcast days. And those themes, they actually now, they pretty much actually engulf, or they pretty much allow us to actually have program within those specific themes. Now, these themes are not actually the only themes that we actually venture ourselves in. It's just that these are the themes we've started our conversation with, or this broadcast with. So on Mondays, we have one theme: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Friday. So on Mondays, we get to have a theme that actually focuses on the eradication of African refugees and African stateless person. Any program that we program is strictly related to that. On Tuesdays, we get to talk about, or we have a theme that focuses on the Constitution, law, and policy review and implementation for African nations. Meaning we scrutinize Constitution, regular laws, and policies of African nations, and we see whether they actually have any added value to Africans first and foremost, and if they don't, we actually advocate against it. We encourage people to change that. On Wednesdays, one of my favorite days, we have a theme that actually focuses on our testimony, our history, telling and writing. Which means we get to have programs that allows us to tell our stories, to tell our testimonies, to write our own history by us, without anybody else, without any influence of anybody else except us. We get to have an opportunity to speak on behalf of the voiceless brothers and sisters all over. Because most of them don't have the means, don't have the encouragement, don't even know that that's a possibility. But now we have the driving seat. Now we have the vehicle. We can do it ourselves with no apologies to nobody. On Thursdays, we get to talk about the spirit of dominion. This is one of the most powerful themes and programs that, in my opinion, are a must have, a must do, a must participate for each and every one of the Africans. Because within these themes, the programs we discuss here, they talk about the management of African resources. They talk about the control of Africa and African resources. We talk about reviving African culture, reviving African governorship, reviving everything that is of importance to you, brothers and sisters all over. Specifically Africans. But this time, the difference, you're in charge. It's not another nation that's in charge. Meaning, whether you fail or succeed, it's on you. You cannot blame it on anybody else except you. On Fridays, we have a theme that discusses the current events and its impact to Africa and African people. Again, you get to drive the agenda. Whatever programs that we have are related to that. We can choose a program that focuses on a village, that focuses on a nation, that focuses on a city. But that has a tendency, or that seems to be a trend, where it can have an impact towards the entire Africa and African people. And you get to have a saying in it, or that we get to bring to you. We actually get to have action plans behind them. Meaning we don't just talk the talk, we also walk the walk. And we get to say, here you go. Measure everything we have done. Take a look and see if this is acceptable action-wise. And if you find it helpful, if you find it as something that you can subscribe to, you can support, we keep it moving. And we make sure that all of us, we get to do that. So that's what we got going on Monday through Fridays. And today, since it's Thursdays, we are going to talk about the spirit of dominion. Again, I just explained to you what the spirit of dominion is. This is when you're in charge of your own destiny, you're in charge of your own leadership, you're in charge of your family, of your community, of your nation. You screw up is on you, you succeed is on you. You take the credit both when you're screwing up, but also when you're doing good. But also you stop You stop letting other people run your lives. You stop allowing other people to decide your destiny. You put a stop to it. If today nobody else but the United States runs its destiny, why should France come to the United States and tell the United States where its destiny is and actually say, this is what I want you to do? So why would it be okay for the United States, France, Germany, China, or any one of these nations to come to Africa and say, this is what we want you to do? If you do not want something to be done to you, why do you want to go and do it to somebody else? That's basically what we are saying. Again, we speak frankly, boldly, and with no apologies. Literally, guys, there's no shame in saying this publicly. You cannot go to China and start telling Chinese what to do. So why should China come at home and tell you what to do? Not acceptable. You cannot go to Washington and tell President Biden what to do as another foreign leader. So why should Biden come in your own nation and tell you what to do? Unless we're not equal. If we're not equal, then that's fine. If you claim to be a free country, an independent country, because we'd love to use those words, but we have zero notion of what those words mean. Because we speak of them, but we have zero action that reflects what we are saying. So basically, we say something, but we mean something else different. And that's why we say enough is enough with us. Especially not today, guys. Not today. So that's what we got going on, and today is no different. Today, what do we want to talk about? Today we want to talk about who exactly do you need a license from to pursue your destiny. Speaking of what? Who do you need a permission from, guys? Whom do you need to go and request a license to pursue your own destiny? Is there a difference from a war and a conflict when countless lives perish in both situations? When do you take charge of your own lives? Lastly, what do you have to do? What is your role in all of this? That's one of the questions that I always ask on this broadcast. And that's what I got going on to you guys. And I'm hoping that you can actually look at it from the lenses of your own self. And you do not need to sugarcoat nothing to you. At the end of the day, guys, you can go and be a cheerleader to someone. But at the end of the day, you are responsible for you, yourself, and everything related to you. So, who exactly do you need a license from to pursue your destiny? Why this question? Again, this pertains to Africa and African nations. It seems that we've been slaves for many decades. It seems like we've been slaves for many centuries. And it seems like we are still slaves today. We may not have physical shackles, but we are mentally enslaved today. A lot of things that we're doing right now reflect that we are still enslaved, that we are still unable to govern ourselves, to actually decide for ourselves. Someone else is doing that for us without our permission, without us inviting them to, without us even requesting help. Someone is running your lives. Someone is deciding for you. Someone is telling you when to go left and when to go right, when to go up and when to go down. Yet we still claim that we are free people, we are free nations. And so, today we're asking exactly whom do you get to request a license from when it comes to pursuing your destiny? What is your destiny? Some of you might be wondering. What is destiny? And oftentimes, because when we do these things, I want to make sure that what I'm saying doesn't have some sort of conflict with your beliefs. So, do you know what I do? I go to where you guys do best. I go to this dictionary written by all of you guys. So I just wrote that word in there because I want to make sure that what I say and what you will read is the same. I do not want to cause any sort of like paralysis amongst you guys. So according to the dictionary, to Google Dictionary, destiny is the event that will necessarily happen to a particular person or a thing in the future. The hidden power believed to control what will happen in the future. Fate. The similarities for that, let's see what they say here. Future fate, fortune, doom, lot, portion, blah, 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 blah. And I also like to see Webster Dictionary usually define in some of these words that we use. So according to Webster Dictionary, it says that fate is something to which a person or a thing is destined. It doesn't really explain much. A predetermined course of event, often held to be an irresistible power or agency. Okay, let's leave it at that. So what is your destiny? You heard, according to some of these guys. I usually say that destiny for me is where I am going to end up with or without you having a saying in it. And guess what? My destiny is already predefined by my maker, my father. That's what I believe in. It is not predetermined by any of these nations. Any one of the world's so-called powerful nations in this entire planet Earth. And because of that, no matter what happens, if I know who I am and if I know who my father is, none of you can come in and tell me otherwise. You may attempt to. You may even force me to believe, force me to follow, force me to do what you want me to do. And that's been what's been happening. And today I'm going to give some examples. And by the way, guys, I know that today's broadcast, we may get booed off. We may get kicked off because I've realized that sometimes we get censored by Google and by Facebook, especially since those are the two mainstream media that we actually to pass on our broadcast. But for those of you on television, it's all good, or radio station, or those private networks. But seriously, guys, sometimes when we're having this conversation, we're having them publicly because we're expecting feedbacks. My personal opinion, my opinion about this and that, does not mean that you have to censor me because it's my strong opinion. We're going to get into that. In any case, if we do get booed off because of what I'm saying, you can actually check it out on demand from our websites or from our private carriers as well. But it is our hope that some of these big boys can actually take being a true to themselves, not police the right, our right to speak, especially when we're using their platforms. But there's a good news. We are building our own platforms coming soon, where we are no longer going to actually feel like someone is going to put a mask on our mouth just because we are expressing ourselves. Even if it's something erroneous. That's why we are a community. As a community, you have the right to correct someone. But you do not have the right to open my mouth and shove whatever it is you want to shove in my mouth and say, swallow it. No. Especially if you truly believe that I'm free, as you claim to be. With that in mind, guys, let me get back to what I'm saying, because it's crucial that we get to be on the same page and you do not misunderstand me. So, who exactly do you need a license from to pursue your destiny? Here, as Africans, what is your destiny? Where do you end up? You are kings and queens, and you've been given the mandate to have dominion over the resources of Africa. Everything that you have within Africa, you have a mandate to manage it, to make it better, and also to make it work for you. So your destiny is to rule over everything there, to make it better, to protect it, and to actually live it better than you have found it. That's your destiny. That's our collective destiny. That's what I believe. That's what I subscribe in today. You cannot tell me otherwise. I know that I'm a king and you are a queen. So our God-given destiny is to rule over. Now, if you have a real estate and you've been given the mandate to manage it to the best of your ability, not only that, you've been given the gifts to use for that management contract. How in the world do you give up that management contract by someone who come in and scam you, or by someone who come in and just exercise some and actually force you to give it up, or cons you to give it up, or fight you to take over what is not rightfully theirs, and you just say kumbaya, come and get it. So that's why right now we're saying Africans have been enslaved for many decades, for many centuries. Today they are still being enslaved, though not physically for some nations, but now mentally. And with the mental shackles that we have, someone else is actually deciding for you. You are a king and a queen by name, but you do not live as a king, you do not live as a queen. Someone else is taking the leadership mandate. Someone else is taking that responsibility from you, because you no longer are responsible for yourself. Someone else is responsible for you, and therefore they make decisions for your life and everything about you, which is a no-no, which is not acceptable. It's been happening for many centuries, and it is still happening. And as sons and daughters who just came around the block, we realize that there's something wrong with this. If I have the same brain as you do, if I have 2 legs as you do, if you have 2 arms than you do, if I have 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, why is it that you feel like you're superior over me, or you can come in and run me, and run my life, and run my family, run my community? Why do you have that audacity? But I cannot have the same audacity against you. So, do I need a permission to come from you? Do I need a permission from you to do what I have to do, what I have been inherited, what my inheritance is? Do I need a permission to come from you to give me the license to do that? I oftentimes equate it to this. And guys, I'm not joking with you guys, even though to some it might be funny. Does a mother need a license from the government to have a child? You have been given a superior license to conceive and have children naturally. That is a natural license that you have. You do not need from any government. Do any of you need a license to breathe? Do you need a certificate from any government for you to breathe? I was born breathing. I was certified to breathe. And I have a natural license to breathe. I need no government license. Any of these powerful nations, I do not need their licenses to breathe. Real talk, guys. Real talk. So, how dare do you come in and tell me from today on, you are going to need a license to breathe? It has started, by the way. You may wonder how. When you go to hospital today and you're having breathing issue, do you know that they sell you oxygen in hospitals for some of you who cannot breathe? They even said that we certified that this oxygen, it's good, and this is the charge for it. Your father, my father, has given you free oxygen to breathe. It's really not free. It is free so long as you follow your mandate, so long as you are in your position to do what you got to do. Because everything you have around you, it's there to facilitate your mission. It's there to help you pursue your destiny. Your father-given destiny, not government-given destiny. Why am I stressing on that? I want you all to know that there's not a single government on this planet Earth that has a license to run your life. Not one single government. I do not subscribe in that. I am publicly saying that. Though I'm a member of a nation, actually I'm not a member, I'm a citizen of a nation. A member is something much, much lower. A citizen, it's a legal creature. While a member, it's not a legal creature. So I'm a citizen of a nation. And based on the agreements that we have as a nation, as other collectively brothers and sisters, whichever nation you find yourself in, you set the laws that govern you. These laws must work for you, not against you. And you choose to submit to these laws. And any time a few of you, a group of you decide that you are going to take it upon yourselves to create brand new laws to subjugate other people, that deal is off. That deal is off. So where am I headed with this exactly? It seems like Africans, they have to go request permission from foreign nations to pursue their own destiny. Example, Francophone nations, they have to go to France to ask permission to lead themselves. Anglophone nations, they go to English nations, the West, the United States, the United Kingdom and the likes. They go there to beg, they go there to seek assistance to help them self-determine themselves, to help them self-govern themselves. So long as it is in the interest of these nations, they okay it. But no longer these nations also abide by, hey, you know what, this is my territory, I've conquered this. They no longer go by that, because it's actually embarrassing to claim yourself as a free nation, yet you are being occupied by any one of these powerful nations. Occupation is nothing short from enslavement, in suit, in disguise. It's like you being turned into a slave, but they remove you physical shackles. They put you in a beautiful suit. They make you look good, but the conditions remain the same, except that you look amazing. So we have become crafty in the way we subjugate other people, in the way we want to control other nations, other communities. So you hear it today that, you know, unless you do A, B, C, D, we will have a regime change. For instance, did you know that Rwanda had regime change in 1994? They had a coup d'etat. But you never hear of that. There are many conflicts that has happened since what? Let's say from 1900s to today, plenty. However, according to those who actually tell you whether there is a war or there is a conflict, the documentation of what's been happening has been done by the same people who have been controlling you. What am I saying here? The difference between a war and a conflict, when countless lives are perishing. Again, listen to me very carefully. Your destiny, it's been squashed by someone because of something else that is introduced in your community, be it a war or be it a conflict. Again, I want to go to Google or the dictionary to let you know what they say about the difference between the two things. Let's find out. According to Google, a war is a state of armed conflict between different nations or states or different groups within a nation or a state. Listen carefully and let's see what they say about a conflict. A conflict is a serious disagreement or an argument, typically a protracted one, to be incompatible or in variance, in a clash. conflict between two groups, and so on. Let me see what Webster says about conflict. According to the Webster Dictionary, a conflict, we have a couple of definitions. First, a conflict is a fight, a battle, a war. Same thing as Gugu said. A conflict actually, also they say, second definition is competitive or opposing action of incompatibles, antagonistic state or action, as of divergent ideas, interests, or persons. Conflict over principles of principles. Another explanation, mental or struggle resulting from incompatible or opposing needs, drives, wishes, or external or internal demands. Another definition, the opposition of persons or forces that gives rise to a dramatic action in a drama or a fiction. Well. So now, imagine in Africa, you have countries that have lost millions of people, and they call it a conflict. And you have other nations that have lost other millions of people, they call it a war. There's no difference so long as the naming has already predetermined where they will classify you. For example, today, did you know that in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, more than 12 million people have died? And they claim that this is a conflict that has taken more than 12 million people. In Rwanda, we have had a war that became a genocide, that also turned into a genocide as one of the results. But up to this very date, I actually do not know what they classify what has happened in Rwanda, though about 3 or 4 million people, even more than that, have died. So one is a conflict, another one is a war, another one it's something else, and because of the definition, you can just look away. Now, let me also, according to some of the sources that I have dug from the internet, according to, what is this website? Hold on, let me actually give you the proper source so that I do not, okay, Imperial War Museum. According to the Imperial War Museum, so they've listed a bunch of wars that have taken place in a bunch of conflicts. Now, here's a surprising thing. From 1990, October 1st, 1990, Rwanda had a war where the Rwandan Patriotic Front, as a rebel group, attacked Rwanda with the help of Uganda, with the help of the United States, with the help of the United Kingdoms, so many external nations who actually participated in that war. And then in 1994, that war literally toppled off the government of Habyarimana. This museum, the Imperial War Museum, has not listed that war. However, it has listed the Gulf War, the 1990 to the 1991 war, the Sierra Leone War, Civil War, 1991 to 2002, the Bosnia War, 1992 to 1995. Minding you that in 1995, that's when like the bullets, the actual literally gunfights pretty much ended within the country of Rwanda. But then that war extended to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which was named Zaire before it changed its name. And up to this very day, surprisingly, this museum doesn't have it as one of the wars that actually has taken away many countless lives. We've lost more than 3 million in Rwanda alone. The Congolese, from 1990 up to today, they've lost more than 12 people because Rwanda carried its warfare in the Congo. And then some other things also came in, like plundering and killing the people and confusing the people for being Hutus, Twan, Tutsis, and so on. We're talking about extermination of people. And up to this very day, the Congolese war, it's not written anywhere. It's not recognized as a war nor a conflict. Actually, they said it's a conflict. That has taken 12 million. I mean, who are you killing today? So this is where now I come in and ask you, brothers and sisters, what does it matter whether it's a war or a conflict when millions of you are dying anyway? If someone is justifying it, that, oh, don't worry about it, this is just a conflict. They're actually trying to say, hey, listen, you guys sort it all out. And I want to let you know that in Rwanda, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, in Uganda, in Tanzania, in Burundi, we do not have an armed manufacturer. We do not manufacture arms. So imagine from 1990 to today, we have never-ending wars in that region, in the Great Lakes region. We have unlimited supplies of weapons, unlimited supply of mercenaries, unlimited supply of military exercises. Yet, it doesn't come from within ourselves. So who's in the cookie jar, guys? Who is in the cookie jar? That's the really question, guys. There are people, there are organizations whose business thrives when millions of other people die. Real talk, again. However, these institutions, these organizations, they do not like to be put in the media. They do not like to be talked about. They want to stay anonymous. I remember, it must have been last year, we talked about the 10 arm dealers, the 10 manufacturers of arms globally. And as soon as we mentioned those 10 names, literally, I kid you not, we got cut off, we lost electricity, we lost all our communications. We literally got beat off, we got booted off. We were kicked off the network, we were kicked off the internet, we lost the electricity so that we do not broadcast nor record. And we were like, whoa, you drop a name? It's like, so in Kenya, Rwanda, they say, kujugunya ibuye mugi, oh dear. It's like throwing rocks in the bushes, and then you can hear it, dog barkings, or whatever it is that's hiding in there. It barks at you. So even as we dropped those names, and before we know it, games was over. It was so interesting, and it was so unfunny actually, because we were scrambling, trying to do backups. And ever since then, oftentimes we get to have sometimes some of the conversations that may turn into controversy. And we get booted off. We get censored by Google, we get censored by Facebook, and we have actually came to accept it. Because they've become the police when we're using their platforms. And guys, remember, as nations, we say that we are pursuing life, liberty, and happiness. We are pursuing our higher, our higher consciousness. We want to be better than we were yesterday. And some of these police officers globally, they actually do not subscribe into that. Because the actions speak louder. Actions that we have, they speak louder than the words. Oftentimes we used to get mad when they booted us off. But then it started actually planting a seed within ourselves. If someone is booting you off their network, they actually sending a message to you. We do not want you to bring that talk here. We do not want you to speak like that here. Whether it's correct or not, we just don't want it here. That's where we are right now, and we are speaking frankly to you guys. So right now, how is it that millions of people are dying and we are busy trying to define the death that they've died in? We do not care that millions have died. All we care is about who is responsible and how they are not responsible. Because of terms of definition, it can either turn you into a criminal, a murderer, a genocide, whatever. And then you can be like, I didn't do it, even though someone is dead. But you're like, I'm not responsible. You manufacture an atomic bomb. It kills people. I'm not responsible. I just manufactured this thing. You used it. So you take the responsibility. However, if I go to a bank today and steal money, and you are my driver, do you know that both of us go to jail? You were an accomplice to me stealing in a bank. Even though you did not physically steal the money. I stole the money, you drove me from and to. We both get to be accountable. Today, it is so interesting. It is so unheard of. It is so unspoken. The millions of people are dying. Millions of Africans are dying. Manufacturers that are creating these weapons are nowhere to be found. They are not charged. They do not get to be charged because they just created the weapons. You Africans, you decided to kill yourselves. What is the difference between me stealing the money at the bank, you driving me, and we both get the same sentence? I used your gun, you created the gun, but you have no responsibility in doing it. Are you seeing what I'm actually headed with these guys? So because we do not have our destiny in our hands as Africans, today nations come in and they actually get to tell you what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. Do you know that today, crimes committed in Africa, only African countries go to court? The rest of the outside nations do not go to court. Let me repeat, guys, because some of you might think that I'm smoking some weed. In many African nation conflicts, be it wars or conflict, whatever the naming that they have, you have countless lives that are perishing. Only African leaders are taken to these international tribunal courts. Non-African nations are never taken there. Then they have zero responsibilities in it. Minding you that Africans do not create weapons. There's no accomplice. There's no mastermind. There's no carryover. There's none of that. They target you specifically. You the thief. You the executioner. Never mind the mastermind. Never mind the one who supported. Never mind the one who has trained. None of that. And you wonder, what kind of freedom is this, guys? What kind of independence is this? And that's why I say I am so going to be thankful if this program, we can actually finish without us being booted off. The truth hurts, but also facts. Check out in this international tribunal. Check him out. It is okay today. Let me tread lightly with this one. Okay? Let me tread lightly. Currently, we have Russia and Ukraine fighting. You have bombs falling from Russia to Ukraine. Russia decided to just attack, to attack Ukraine. In my little understanding of the war there, which is why I'm not gonna get into it, because I have yet to fully understand the intricacies of what's happening. But what we know is that right now Russia is bombing there. And the Ukrainians are trying to sort of like defend themselves because they're being attacked. So why is it okay that today a powerful nation as Russia can so choose to attack anybody? And it's okay. But today, let's say that, Rwanda attacks another nation by itself without any help. And all hell gets loose. Today, the conflict, you know exactly what's happening in Ukraine. You've got many people talking about it. How many African nations are reporting directly from the ground what's happening in Ukraine? Let's flip the script. From 1994 to today, how many nations have you seen reporting what has happened in the Democratic Republic of the Congo? How many news anchors have you seen there physically reporting the death, showing all those countless lives, those innocent lives, those children, those mothers, those elder people dying? Rwanda doing it. A lot of external nations in the middle of it. Not one single networks have taken as much airtime as we've seen with the conflict of Ukraine and Russia, that everybody knows about it today. And how long has this conflict been going on? Or this war has been going on? Remember, the naming matters. But what we know is that right now there are still people dying in Ukraine. Some of which you may never know. Bottom line, people are dying. But because of the naming, someone gets to get off. Never mind somebody has died. Many families have died. As long as it's not properly named, I'm off the hook. Some people, many institutions have been off the hook since almost 28, 29 years. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, millions of Africans dead. You don't hear about it on television. The coverage is little to none. And we're still talking about genocide. I mean, we're still talking about all nonsense on it. Why? Because we do not have destiny in our own hands. So what am I saying? Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, you need no permission from any of these powerful nations to take your destiny in your own hands. It is rightfully yours, but you have to be the one taking it. You have to be able to fight for it, and you have to be able to execute whatever it is you have to do to go towards your destiny. You've already been given a natural license to pursue your destiny. You need no external government. None whatsoever. You do not need any of them to give you the license to pursue your destiny. So, your people are dying in millions. You are silent. And the rest of those big mainstream media are silent about it because the owners of those big streaming medias are actually in the cookie jar. So today, what am I saying to you guys? It is crucial, it is important that you learn how to take back what is rightfully yours, guys. We have many conflicts. We have many wars. Whatever the namings, I shall say to you, we have many countless lives dying every single day in Africa. Dying every single day in Africa. By the guns, the weapons created from the outside of Africa. How did they arrive in Africa? That's a good question. Who's bringing them in Africa? That's a good question. Who's training these people to utilize these weapons? That's a good question. How is it that you don't ask those questions? How is it that your government doesn't ask those questions? Because your government doesn't have the power. Your government, it's like a soldier executing commands from these external governments. Your government is just a slave following the master's command. And you wonder, if your government is a slave to another government, what does that make you? What does that make you? I am asking this with humble, with anger, with perplexity, but also with fatigue in my spirit. A little bit anyway. I won't be fatigued. I will not be tired forever. But I'm wondering what has to happen, guys? What has to happen for you to take back what is rightfully yours? For you to protect your brother, your sister, your mother, your dad, your son, your daughter, your wife, your father, your husband, your family. What must it take for you to protect it by any means necessary? What must happen for you to actually manage all your resources? Like fully be responsible for everything under your dominion without the external influences, meaning without the outsider nations telling you what to do, how to do it and when to do it. We're dying in masses, yet we're still giving birth in masses. So it's a dilemma. Africans are being killed in mass numbers, but we keep on producing in mass quantity as well. So that perplexes a lot of people, a lot of nations, a lot of institutions, to the extent now they're trying to make sure that they actually create all these chemistry, all these pills, all these mechanisms to keep you from giving birth. Right now, Africa has the youngest audience, have the youngest population on planet Earth. And the dilemma, as young as we are, we're also being killed in great numbers. So you wonder, how is it that we're dying in great numbers and none of us care about it? None of us fight about it. None of us even inquire as to what's happening. The very few who are seriously seeking out, they end up dead. They end up with some sort of charges. They end up with some sort of conspiracy. And you still wonder what is happening today with us as Africans, sons and daughters, you kings and queens of Africa. Why are we selling out to our own? We're selling out literally. We're selling out our own people. We're selling out our own nations. We're selling out our beliefs, our inheritance over a cup of porridge, over a few million euros, a few million of dollars, and you give up the whole nation. And then you don't even get to enjoy your reward, your selfish reward. Where are we headed, guys? Where are we headed? And what is your role in all of this? So, in Kenya, Rwanda, there is a saying that wima maraso igihugu imbwa zikanywera ubusa. And I'll translate that. It says that you refuse to shed your blood to your nation, and the dogs get to drink your blood for free. When your nation needs you to fight over it, to advocate for it, or on behalf of it and its people, and you refuse, any consequence that comes as a result of your refusal, of you being ignorant of what's happening, it is fair and square, really. You would die anyway. Calamity comes along because of your refusal, and that calamity is somehow just. That's how I can explain to it. So, but why is it okay? Why is it okay that you are going to just perish and you're pretty okay with it? Why are you going to hide on these external nations or in these external nations when your own nation is burning on fire and you are not willing to shed your own blood to quench that fire in your own nation? You are not willing to join arms, to join forces with your brothers and sisters and save your nation and save your neighbors' nations. Have we become not only just ignorant kings and queens, but also selfish kings and queens? When it never used to be like that. What must you do? What must you do, guys? This is a question that drives me today here at Afri Dominion. It drives me today in Kenya, Rwanda, when we're talking about, or when we're doing so many different activities. Because I cannot stand today to see us being manipulated. I cannot stand today seeing my own brothers and sisters killing each other because of a cup of porridge, because of a few $100,000, because of a few €100,000. And I get to sell out my own people with zero conscience. I get to sell out my own homeland with zero conscience. This is beyond treason. I don't even know how you will call this. However, because the merchant of that deal, the one who's striking that deal, the one who's manufactured that deal, it's unreachable. It's not one of you people. It is these external nations. Oftentimes, the only nations that are called powerful nations. We're talking about 2022. We're not talking about in the year 500. 2022. With plenty of examples. What do you have to do about that, guys? What do you have to do about that? Can a nation get off the hook because it's not part of the conflict by definition, because it's not part of the war by definition, when in fact millions of your own brothers and sisters have already been dead, have died by the weapons provided, by the trainings provided, by so many indirect actions, indirect, like literally participation in their death? Why would those nations get off? Why would you let them literally get off? And you forever hold your tongue. But you do not hold your tongue against your own people. Because remember, your own people pulled the trigger. But the external nation provided the gun. Your own people pulled the trigger. But the external nation provided the training. Your own people pulled the trigger when the external nation designed the war. Whose joke is it anyway at this point? When are we going to wisen up? When are we going to wisen up, guys? Every single life that perishes prematurely, to me, it's a tragic. It is a tragic that weighs so much. Let alone millions. Be it a white person, a black person, a yellow person, or whatever color, or however you actually identify yourself. Any loss, any perished life, it's too expensive for humanity today. Yet we're talking about we are too many on earth. So we have to be able to actually reduce the population by any means necessary. Have you guys heard of that? Hence, wars must continue, diseases must continue, all kinds of crafty way to get rid of you, to diminish you in population must be utilized. We have murderers amongst ourselves, disguised as many different names. Yet none of us are smart enough to say, wait. You're exterminating us. And you're calling it a disease here. You're exterminating us. And you're calling it a conflict there. You're exterminating us. And you're calling it an unjustified war. And you're exterminating us here. And you call it a famine. What happens when you poison an entire land? When you poison water? When you poison the soil? And consequently, millions of people die out of famine. What happens? Who gets to be charged? Who do you go after for those heinous acts? Today it's happening, guys. We're talking about 2022. But you have some nations that are untouchable, while the rest of the nations are literally served on silver platter. They've become like lunch, dinner, and breakfast. The untouchables are planning everything, and the touchables are the casualty. They respond. They have to respond on behalf of the untouchable ones. This is a real talk, guys. So we have inequality in the way that history has never recorded before. Today, in 2022. Yet we call ourselves independent nations, independent everything, freed people, free whatever, but it's really, truthfully, not. Where's the inequality? When one population is able to get out of Ukraine, another one is not. Where is the equality in that? Where is the equality when 12 plus millions have died in a period of 28 plus years, but not a single one of them has yet to receive justice? Where is the equality when few millions people in Rwanda have died? There is zero recognition. When other few 100,000 have died, and the entire global community cried up to this very day. We have inequality all over us, but we are not honest enough to say something is wrong with this picture and something has to change, something has to give. And that action plan, and that bold move is the kind of bold move that usually is in direct conflict with those untouchables, those masterminds, those true masterminds. But guys, like I say, you refuse to give blood your nations, and the dog get to drink it for free. Again, you refuse to give your blood to your nations, and the dogs get to drink it for free. That's an African proverb that I'm translating in English. So you sons and daughters, you African sons and daughters, you got a decision to make. Whether you live in these amazing nations, whether you are in your own respective countries in Africa, you've got a decision to make. You have to choose to be true to yourselves. You have to choose to take destiny in your own hands. You have to choose to fight for it. You have to choose to lay down your lives and choose your nation and choose the interests of your nation, the interests of your own people. Or you can choose against it. I personally have already made a choice. I will speak the truth, nothing but the truth, right in public. I will walk the walk publicly in everything that I believe in. I am not afraid to lay down my life over something that I believe today. I'm not afraid. Because my life is valueless if I go and side with that same person persecuting my brother, my sister, my own colleagues, my brothers and sisters in Africa, in my own nations. If I go inside with that same person doing it, I am no different than them. If I do not wisen up and be true to myself and be truthful. If you say be truthful, but yet you are not truthful, you are a hypocrite. I refuse to live hypocrisy. I refuse to live, we call it in Kinyarwanda, gutandaraza. It's like you have two lives. You keep on balancing them because you cannot commit to either or. Guys, be truthful. Let your yes be yes and no's be no's. Let your yes be yes. Your no's be no's. Take the consequences in between. We have so much decision to make, but we also have a whole lot of work to do. So I will go right back to where I started. Have you decided or have you realized who exactly do you need to get a license from for you to take back your destiny in your own hands? Who are you going to ask permission? Is it these powerful nations? Who are you going to ask? But also, not even just asking. Are you willing? Are you willing to take the consequences, to assume the consequences of taking those bold actions? There is a price for everything that we do, good and bad. There is a price for everything that we do, guys. Good and bad, right and wrong. There is a price for each and every one of them. Where do you stand when it comes to the price that you must pay to see your brothers and sisters freed, literally, to see your brothers and sisters get justice that they so longly deserved, to see your brothers and sisters actually unify all over again? What price are you willing to pay for it? Be it individually or collectively. I tell you what, me, myself, and or I should say me and my house, because I decided for my house. We are going to pursue justice. We are going to do whatever it is we have to do and fight on behalf of our brothers and sisters. Advocate on behalf of our brothers and sisters. And absolutely, be ready at any given time, place, and initiative. That's where we stand today. And I also want to say, I understand the implication of all of this. A life worthy living is a life worthy actually giving the best gift that you can have. And right now, the very best gift that I have is the gift of life. If I cannot actually fully enjoy this gift of life, if I cannot fully enjoy it in its entirety, then what more are you asking for today? So we've got decisions to make, guys, and every single one of you will have to make your own decision. None of us is going to force you to take a decision or to make a decision, but you are going to have to take those decisions yourselves. Let me read a little bit of a few comments that you have here. One of my friends said here, you actually don't need permission to fight in a smart way to reach what you desire, because it's inherent in human beings to dream and to find the way of how to reach all those. I agree. How do we do it? Freeman, we are together and we love all your programs. Thank you, my brother. Unfortunately, the real truth is that when millions are dying, a group of people is getting rich from the sorrow. True. Russia did not choose to attack Ukraine. Russia found its obligation to what is doing because Ukraine don't abide to the Minsk agreements. I will tread carefully. Sounds like this is an ambassador of Russia. I have zero knowledge, literally. I have not, and I've said it many times. I haven't taken the time to literally investigate or know in depth of what's happening in the war between Russia and Ukraine, or the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, just as you have seen that the words we use matter, especially today. There is a war and there is a conflict. And depending on what it is you're saying, it has a complete different meaning in the ecosystem of warfare. So I would actually encourage all of you guys to be very careful on how you explain some of these things, especially differentiate what is and as opposed to your opinion, because we really suffer from that today. While it's bold and while it's amazing to exchange, but I will also caution you, if you have not taken the time to fully understand the intricacies of what's happening between Russia and Ukraine, be very, very cautious when you offer an opinion that doesn't have so much backing. Because remember, some of these things are permanently going to be out here. And if out of ignorance you provide something, or out of the little understanding that you provide something, and then it gets to have a huge impact towards the entire world community, then who takes the liability over that? Should it be me because we introduced the conversation, or it should be you who takes the full responsibility over it? So part of the responsibility that we get to assume, the same way I say that a manufacturer has as much responsibility as the one using its toy, its equipment. But it's only true in one situation. It's never true equally everywhere. Only when it's convenient, it's true. But when it's not convenient, it does not apply. That's one of the things we have learned, that as human beings, that's how we live this life. Let me read a few things from you. Again, from the Imperial War Museum. So let me just read a few things here. From today up to 1990, let me just tell you what they have listed in their own museum as either wars or conflicts. So they've listed the global coalition to defeat ISIS from 2014 to present. They've listed the Yemen conflict. They've listed the Syrian conflict. They've listed Libya conflict. They've listed Iraqi war. They've listed war in Afghanistan. They've listed the Kosovo war. They've listed Bosnia war. They've listed Sierra Leone civil war. They've listed the Gulf War, and that's it. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 conflicts or wars. So imagine this is a museum, guys, and I have nothing against this particular museum. I was just Googling it when I looked at it, but I also went to Wiki. I was looking at what they have. Even though Wiki didn't have an exhaustive list, they've listed some of those wars as well. What I'm communicating with you guys is, it is us who have to take the full responsibility of an account of everything that's happening in our lives, be wars as they want to define them, or being conflicts. But I would dare say, let's be accountable of the death, of our death, of our brothers and sisters, even those other foreigners who are dead or who found death on our own soil for whatever reason. And let's be accountable for that. Because for me, right now as I'm talking to you, whether you call it a war or a conflict, 12, 13, 14, 15 millions cannot perish. And you say, I'm sorry, we take no responsibility in what's happening. You chose to kill your own self. You got a gun from me, I gave you a gun. You needed a bomb from me, I gave you a bomb. You needed a weapon of mass destruction, I provided one. So you are the only one responsible for those deaths. But then again, you turn around, you say, because you have given a ride this guy who have stolen millions in a bank, both of you are going to jail for it. So conveniently, it is okay for me to be liable for driving a thief from the bank who's stolen money, but it's not okay for a manufacturer of mass destructive weapons, all these weapons killing our brothers and sisters in Africa. It is not okay for these manufacturers to share the same burden, the same crimes as the people utilizing the weapons. How is that? How is that equal? How is that justice? How is that actually being a decent citizen whose love for every single person, whose equality is just in front of all the eyes? I find that to be very disturbing, guys. And it is for this reason I in turn get back at you and I say, guys, we have an opportunity here to seize back our full dominion. For those of you who do not understand that word, dominion entails that you take back control. You take back the management contract. You get to be the one who is liable for everything that is happening to you, to your community, to your nations. And you have zero excuse that's given to somebody else. You assume the full responsibility of everything that's happening. And you can actually get to explain everything that's happening because you have it all on your lap, because you have it all right in front of you. So today, the death that we are experiencing in Africa, all these Africans dying, sons and daughters of Africa dying every single day, be it in Ukraine, be it in Bosnia, be it in any one of these nations, be it in Africa where we still have warfares. We are responsible to explain why are they dying. We are responsible for each and every one of these lives. But above all, our own people, we are even more responsible because we are letting death coming in our own land. We are welcoming death. We are playing with death. We have actually, we literally have embraced death as a part of a culture in our own homelands. And this is not okay. We have to be able to reverse that ourselves. It is not going to be done by the foreigners. It is not going to be done by these manufacturers who are making billions of dollars, billions of euros, billions of money out of your death. Imagine you can get a free credit of a mass destructive weapon, but you would not get a free porridge or a free cup of rice. You can get the very latest advanced technological weapon, the very latest, so long as you're killing your own. But you may not have access to food, to clean water, to education, to any other thing that actually can help you advance yourselves, can help you advance your people, your community, and so on. How do you tell me that that is equality? How do you get to have the audacity to say this is just? You're committing crimes against your own people. You're killing your own people. And then you say you have no hands in it. You are sent by the outsiders to exterminate your own people. And then you are rewarded by moving to the nations. You are rewarded by becoming the biggest puppet, the biggest master in your nation. And you're okay with that. And the rest of your people are okay with that. The list is long, guys. The list is long. I say to you, that everything that is good, everything that is right, everything that is okay, and everything that is wrong, it is all ours to answer to. We are responsible for the outcomes. We are responsible for the choices that we are making and we have made. Be it now, tomorrow, or in the future, even in the past. Now, one of the things that's coming to all of us as an equalizer, whether you are a powerful nation or whether you are one of these little meager nation who cannot even protect itself, blood in your hands will really not wash off until justice has been served and fully rendered to each and every one of us. It may take millennia, but justice will arrive. But one thing that I also know is that we have a Father whose justice is above all justices that we have ever experienced and witnessed on planet Earth. And I know that He sees every single life that's perished because of your decision, of your selfish decision, of some of these agreements, some of these merciless actions that we are taking or we've taken. And justice will find you one way or the other. But also, you refusing to take action. You're refusing, you're looking away while your own people are perishing. You're refusing to be responsible for what's been entrusted to you. You also are going to have to answer. You are not going to get off the hook that easy. It's coming. It's inevitable. Another good thing or another good news, it's none of us can live forever. We read of nations like Rome's, powerful nations like Greece, some of these very big nations that we can actually have a memory of recollected or something that's been saved from the past. These nations are no longer here today. They're not here because of the wish. It's just that season is gone. I submit to you guys that the season of this powerful nation also, it's here right now, but it will not be tomorrow. Your season is here. My season is here. But tomorrow it'll be out. So choose you wisely how you want to render your gifts to this season and to your time while you still have it right now. And I'll end it there, guys. Thank you so very much for listening, and thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much, guys, for those of you who continue to encourage us, those of you who continue to actually support us, and we actually welcome all your support. Be sure to leave a message, be sure to leave your views, and be sure to give us a call. Check us out on our website, www.afridominion.com. Shoot us an email on info@afridominion.com. Give us a call. Check us out on our social media outlet, our social media handler, and anywhere that you know we are. And we do not hide, guys. We're here, and we are here to stay. And with that in mind, guys, I am Freeman Singirankabo with Afridominion, with humbling myself and excitement for the opportunity to have appealed in front of you guys today. Let's keep on sharing this conversation. Let's keep on fighting for our own brothers and sisters. Let's keep on building one another. We are led by the spirit of truth, love, and trust. And always, this is going to be the benchmarks by which you can measure everything that we do. And with that in mind, guys, peace. Until next time, have yourself a super fantastic day.